This is chapter 5. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. To draw near to listen is better than the sacrifice offered by fools, for they do not know how to keep from doing evil. Never be rash with your mouth, nor let your heart be quick to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. For dreams come with many cares, and a fool's voice with many words. When you make a vow to God, do not delay fulfilling it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill what you vow. It is better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not fulfill it. Do not let your mouth lead you into sin. And do not say before the messenger that it was mistake. Why should God be angry at your words and destroy the work of your hands? With many dreams comes vanities and a multitude of words, but fear God. If you see in a province the oppression of the poor and the violation of justice and right, do not be amazed at the matter, for the high official is watched by a higher, and there are yet higher ones over them. But all things considered, this is an advantage for a land, a king for a plowed field. The lover of money will not be satisfied with money, nor the lover of wealth with gain. This also is vanity. When goods increase, those who eat them increase. And what gain has their owner but to see them with his eyes? Sweet is the sleep of laborers, whether they eat little or much. But the surfeit of the rich will not let them sleep. There is a grievous ill that I have seen under the sun. Riches were kept by their owners to their hurt, and those riches were lost in a bad venture, though they are the parents of children. They have, my book just skipped. I'm sorry, everybody.
I'm going to step away for a minute, but I'll just keep going.
Yeah, okay. Let me start again. There is a grievous ill that I have seen under the sun. Riches were kept by their owners to their hurt, and those riches were lost in a bad venture, though they are parents of children. They have nothing in their hands. As they came from their mother's womb, so shall they go again, naked as they came. They shall take nothing for their toil, which they may carry away with their hands. This also is a grievous ill. Just as they came, so shall they go. And what gain do they have from toiling for the wind? Besides, all their days they eat in darkness, in much vexation and sickness and resentment. This is what I have seen to be good. It is fitting to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun for the few days of the life God gives us. For this is our lot. Likewise, all to whom God gives wealth and possessions, and whom he enables to enjoy them and to accept their lot and find enjoyment in their toil. This is the gift of God, for they will scarcely brood over the days of their lives, because God keeps them occupied with the joy of their hearts. Would someone like to read the next chapter? Sandy, how about you? You haven't read for us in a while.
Sure.
Chapter 6. Okay.
I have seen another evil under the sun, and it weighs heavily on mankind. God gives some people wealth, possessions, and honor, so that they lack nothing their hearts desire. But God does not grant them the ability to enjoy them, and strangers enjoy them instead. This is meaningless, a grievous evil. A man may have 100 children and live many years, yet no matter how long he lives, if he cannot enjoy his prosperity and does not receive proper burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. It comes without meaning, it departs in darkness, and in darkness its name is shrouded. Though it never saw the sun or knew anything, it has more rest than does that man, even if he lives 1,000 years twice over, but fails to enjoy his prosperity. Do not all go to the same place? Everyone's toil is for their mouth, yet their appetite is never satisfied. What advantage have the wise over fools? What do the poor gain by knowing how to conduct themselves before others? Better what the eye sees than the roving of the appetite. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Whatever exists has already been named, and what humanity is has been known. No one can contend with someone who is stronger. The more the words, the less the meaning. And how does that profit anyone? For who knows what is good for a person in life during the few and meaningless days they pass through like a shadow? Who could tell them what will happen under the sun after they are gone? Do you want me to continue?
Sure.
A good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of death better than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting, for death is the destiny of everyone. The living should take this to heart. Frustration is better than laughter, because a sad face is good for the heart. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. It is better to heed the rebuke of a wise person than to listen to the song of fools. Like the cracking of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of fools. This too is meaningless. Extortion turns a wise person into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the heart. The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Do not say, why were the old days better than these? For it is not wise to ask such questions. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is a good thing and benefits those who see the sun. Wisdom is a shelter, as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it. Consider what God has done. Who can straighten what he has made crooked? When times are good, be happy. But when times are bad, consider this: God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these: the righteous perishing in their righteousness, and the wicked living long in their wickedness. Do not be over righteous, neither be over wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. Wisdom makes one wise person more powerful than 10 rulers in a city. Indeed, there is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. For you know in your heart that many times you yourself have cursed others. All this I tested by wisdom, and I said, I am determined to be wise, but this was beyond me. Whatever exists is far off and most profound. Who can discover it? So I turned my mind to understand, to investigate, and to search out wisdom and the scheme of things, and to understand the stupidity of wickedness and the madness of folly. I find more bitter than death the woman who is a snare, whose heart is a trap, and whose hands are chains. The man who pleases God will escape her, but the sinner she will ensnare. Look, says the teacher, this is what I have discovered. Adding one thing to another to discover the scheme of things, while I was still searching but not finding. I found one upright man among 1,000, but not one upright woman among them all. This only have I found. God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes.
Hey, Deb, why don't you close? Is that right? Chapter 8? What do you say?
Yes, I can do that.
I think that's as far as we'll go today.
Who is like the wise? Who knows the explanation of things? A person's wisdom brightens their face and changes its hard appearance. Obey the king's command, I say, because you took an oath before God. Do not be in a hurry to leave the king's presence. Do not stand up for a bad cause, for he will do whatever he pleases. Since a king's word is supreme, who can say to him, "What are you doing?" Whoever obeys his command will come to no harm, and the wise heart will know the proper time and procedure. For there is a proper time and procedure for every matter, though a person may be weighed down by misery. Since no one knows the future, who can tell someone else what is to come? As no one has power over the wind to contain it, so no one has power over the time of their death. As no one is discharged in the time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. All this I saw as I applied my mind to everything done under the sun. There is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. Then, too, I saw the wicked buried, those who used to come and go from the holy place and receive praise in the city where they did this. This, too, is meaningless. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, people's hearts are filled with schemes to do wrong. Although a wicked person who commits 100 crimes may live a long time, I know that it will go better with those who fear God, who are reverent before him. Yet, because the wicked do not fear God, it will not go well with them, and their days will not lengthen like a shadow. There is something else meaningless that occurs on earth. The righteous who get what the wicked deserve, and the wicked who get what the righteous deserve. This too, I say, is meaningless. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because there is nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Then joy will accompany them in their toil all the days of the life God has given them under the sun. When I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe the labor that is done on earth, people getting no sleep day or night, then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all their efforts to search it out, no one can discover its meaning. Even if the wise claim they know, they cannot really comprehend it.
Wow. You know, I asked myself, I think we'll finish this book next week. But I ask myself, why is this book in the Bible? And
Yeah, I
what
don't either.
is the teacher trying to tell us about the meaninglessness of life? And I'm not sure. It might be in this last paragraph that Deb just read, or at least part of it. Well, my translation says, when I applied my mind to know wisdom and to see the business that is done on earth, how one's eyes see sleep neither day nor night, then I saw all the work of God, that no one can find out what is happening under the sun. However much they may toil in seeking, they will not find it out, even though those who are wise claim to know. They cannot find it out. And, that paragraph sort of tells, well, we just don't know what God does. It is like totally a mystery to us. And, it still is. I mean,
How we see through a
wonder
glass
if that's
darkly.
what he's getting at. Yeah,
I think he talks about justice and injustice a lot
he
of it,
does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then also we should enjoy life, which I think is kind of interesting.
yeah, yeah. I do too. And he says, I guess he believes in a moderate life or something.
Right. Moderation.
Sure.
Enjoy life in moderation.
Yeah. And then he asks the $64,000 question.
Right.
That is, why are righteous people suffer bad things? Why do they suffer bad things? And why do wicked people not suffer
And
bad?
that's something everyone asks themselves.
We all ask
Yeah.
that question. Why do bad things happen to good people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't seem to like women.
No,
Well,
he doesn't.
I was hoping no one would bring that up, but he did say some not nice things about women. But I mean, do you think he meant women generally, or do you think he
Yeah,
meant
I
like
Yeah, I
don't know.
do.
you do? You don't think he meant like ladies of the night?
No.
No,
No.
I think it's the misogyny of many centuries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Eve caused the fall in the garden. I mean, that's one viewpoint. So, anyway.
I found more bitter than death the woman who is a trap.
Yeah.
Whose heart is snares and nets, whose hand are fetters. One who pleases God escapes her, but the sinner is taken by her. You don't think that refers to an evil woman?
What's the next paragraph?
Oh, let's
Yeah,
wait,
what's
okay,
not this
let's
part about I've not
okay.
found among a woman
Yeah, it says there's righteous men, but there aren't any righteous women.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait.
One man among 1,000 I found, but a woman among all these I have not.
Not, you are absolutely right. Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
he's just, straight out a misogynist.
Yeah. You guys are going to pick up on that. Right away.
I was laughing.
We've been living with it all our lives.
Yeah.
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 Some things never change.
Well, what do we do with a statement like that? I don't know. I mean, how do
We
you,
attribute it to the time and the culture.
you
Yeah,
have
that's right.
to, everything has context.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. You always have to know your context.
And if
Yeah.
you believe that the Bible is infallible, you're going to be a misogynist.
You're going to be really, or you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so I looked at as I was coming onto Zoom, I noticed the graphic at the top of the newsletter, and I thought that was so interesting. Do you guys remember it, the prodigal son? And it doesn't look like your typical, I mean, it's like kind of modern. It looks like an old house falling down, and then there's, I think, an abandoned truck.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. Amy searches for a different thing for every.
Amy finds,
basement.
she finds really interesting pictures. Yeah. I looked at that one. I'm kind of puzzled over it.
Yeah.
Bev, because
We'll
guess-
see her tomorrow in staff meeting. We can ask her maybe.
yeah, I guess it's the prodigal son, when he's down and out.
Coming back.
Well, that could be.
But the homestead doesn't look like it held up too well either.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's where he's reduced to living with the swine,
maybe.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
or maybe he comes back too late.
Well, there's always that.
It looks
I
like
have-
It's a really, really interesting parable. It really
It is.
interesting. Yeah.
I saw the San Francisco Ballet do the Prodigal Son. I don't know if any of you.
Yeah.
That. It was very, very moving. It was really
Uh-huh.
years ago. I can't remember much about it, but it was.
Yeah.
It's a story that resonates over the centuries.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So if I wrote to Jim Stickney,
Mhm.
who said, "Oh, maybe you guys want to read Ecclesiastes."
I know he mentioned that there was
Ask
some.
him why.
Yeah, ask him why.
I'm gonna get a little pointed.
All right.
So what he thought it would be good for Lent.
For our sins.
I guess. Yeah.
He's coming to Palm Sunday. We could maybe.
Oh,
we can-
okay.
we can,
I'm looking for a turn in this
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to come with chapter 5, and then I looked and I said, "Oh, it's not coming." So maybe it'll come with chapter 9.
I'm trying to see if there's anything in the intro here.
I didn't read very much about it.
Well, it's dated between the 5th and 3rd centuries before the
Yeah.
Common Era.
Yeah.
It's originally written in Aramaic and poorly translated into Hebrew. No, that's rejected today. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah. Well, people think it has a lot of Greek philosophy in it. That's one thing I noticed,
Which is speaking of
that
misogyny.
sort of, live your life because you're going to die.
Mhm.
That's the Epicurean view of the world. Well, not totally, but a bit. Yeah.
Ecclesiastes focuses upon the limits and contradictions of life in order to teach wisdom. From the pinnacle of human success and power, this guy, whoever he is, surveys life and finds it vanity. Even the best life is limited in knowledge, virtue, and power, troubled by evil and injustice, and ultimately ended by death. It's a little bit like Job in that sense. He said, like Job's friends who selectively misuse traditional wisdom
Yeah.
and make connections between godly goodness and success or wickedness and failure. But see, he maintains that it doesn't matter if you're good or wicked.
Yeah.
Same thing happens to you.
We read Job. I remember.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's beautiful language and stuff. And Job is the guy who keeps wanting God to come to court and to say, I know you did this for a reason, and the reason is not that I'm a bad guy. I think this is Job. So
Mhm.
you got to tell me.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to justify yourself.
Justify what you've done to me.
Yeah. And so, God does show up. I mean, and everybody is like, their shoes are blown off, right? And God says, what is this? I gotta justify myself to you. Forget it. And this guy in Ecclesiastes kind of does that. We don't know why things happen, you know.
Yeah, the key word vanity is, he says, is variously translated as meaninglessness,
Yeah,
absurdity, emptiness, not incongruity, and uselessness.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of a what's the point kind of word.
Yeah. Impossible to know what will come with death, which is inevitable for both the righteous and the unrighteous.
What are you reading from, Becky?
This is from the
Oxford?
HarperCollins
Oh, okay.
Study Bible. It's a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it has almost as much commentary as it has text.
Yeah,
They're a little overpowering,
yeah.
but and I don't.
It's good. I looked at the Jerusalem Bible, but it sort of packs Ecclesiastes in with other books, so it doesn't have
Yeah, the,
focused
in this case,
comment focused on Ecclesiastes.
they don't say that Solomon is the writer. They say that writer is someone is traditionally called preacher,
Yeah.
not necessarily that Solomon.
Well, they sort of say, well, Solomon wrote it, but I think that's impossible.
I don't think so.
And,
That Solomon was
and
dead.
that they just used his name
Yeah.
to pump up the work, to give it more authority.
There's
Anyway,
a passage that I find,
yeah,
when times are good, be happy, but when times are bad, consider this: God has made the one as well as the other.
Yeah.
Therefore, no one can discover anything about your truth, their future.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of troubling.
it is troubling, but I in some ways, I mean, it seems to me that it is a little bit good advice because I don't know, we've all had ups and downs, haven't we, in our lives?
Well, we were just talking before we started reading about downs.
Yeah. And so maybe he's saying, we don't know what God does, but like Job, I think we know that God is in there somewhere. And wow, Ecclesiastes,
No,
it's hard.
I just want to,
It's the problem of why is the earth so awful? You know what?
in my view, the point of wanting to know God is because I want God's support. It's not like bad things won't happen to me and good things won't happen to me, but I'd like support to help me deal with the bad things,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I think about it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel also.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have to get stuck at why do bad things happen to good people. Just anyway. And I don't mean exactly my personal support. I mean, in general, you know.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
that is, he's there. He's present. Yeah,
that's what we hope.
yeah.
says the book emphasizes the value of rationality despite the irrationality of life, and
Mm,
adds, it is God's presence that is present, and one might add precious,
mm,
despite the good and the bad. You have to see
yeah.
God's presence in your life.
Well, remember,
I'm gonna go to sleep.
yeah, that's fun.
Bye, Beth.
Great, thanks for coming, Beth. But remember, Reverend Nesbitt talked about Lamentations, how we should learn. Well, we lamenting is okay, I think, is what
Right.
she was kind of saying. I don't remember exactly which, but you know, I think Ecclesiastes would tell us, like Beth just said, that God, you know, you want God always to be present and support, you know, and you know, when I'm happy and things are going well, man, I really love God, right? But when things go bad, I'm going, oh, why is it? And I think part of it is that it's okay to lament, you know, and maybe that's part of the world that Ecclesiastes doesn't say that, but it's part of, it's like the world he's presenting to us. Anyway, thanks,
Mean it.
guys. It's always so nice to be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's great. Yeah, it is a great puzzle to my mind right now, though.
yeah,
It
yeah.
seems like it's saying eat, drink, and be merry, and the rest of it's out of your control.
Yeah,
It's a little bit, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a little bit.
You know, follow the rules, obey the king.
Mhm.
stay out of the trap
That's
of the
about all
woman.
you can do.
Stay away from the trap of the woman.
Yeah, stay away from evil women, which is all of them.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, a lot of this is like Proverbs too. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's a
string
short, yeah, right.
of advice. But I think he's always saying, you know, God is in the background. God is there. Well, we think he's in the background. Maybe he's really in the foreground.
Maybe we'll get a little more out of it at the end here.
Yeah. Anyway, let's stop confusing me. Okay.
Right. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks,
Hey, thanks
everybody.
everybody. It's great. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Have a nice evening.
Thanks.
You
Okay.
too.
See you in the morning, Margaret.
Oh,
I guess
yes.
we'll do it together. Yeah.
Yes.
Poor Lori. I don't know if she'll even come. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really got a monster of a cold. And Beth's worried that she might have pneumonia. So, but anyway, hopefully, well, she'll be paying attention. I mean, she'll know what to do. Okay, so I'll see you in the morning. In fact, I'm going to mark everything now so that I know what I'm doing. Okay. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Peter.